Hi, I'm Dave Balkan. I had previously done 2 videos about how to solder pipe. The important part of the 3 steps of soldering is cutting, prepping the pipe properly, and cleaning the pipe properly, and not getting any dust or contaminating it after you've cleaned it properly. Soldering, in my opinion, is actually the easy part. The first thing that you have to be aware of when you're soldering is, of course, you're working with a flame. I'd suggest you wear a long sleeve shirt. You can have pockets, but they should be closed pockets because you do not want hot solder going into an open pocket. That would not be too comfortable. Also, because you're working with tools and hot materials, you want safety goggles. In my particular case, because I have bad eyesight, I have progressive safety goggles that I got online. A lot of people don't realize they do make prescription safety goggles. They're really not that expensive. You do want to have a fire extinguisher. And most definitely, if you're working behind a finished wall that contains lumber or insulation, you want a heat shield so when you're using the torch, the heat cannot penetrate to any flammable materials. The first part of soldering is you want to preheat your pipe. In my opinion, I am not an expert. I'm just sharing knowledge that I believe to be true. That's my disclaimer. Once you're soldering pipe that's 1.5 inches or larger, you do have to rotate the flame to get all sides of the pipe hot. You cannot just place the flame in one spot and expect to heat the whole entire pipe. I don't believe that's realistic once you're an 1.5 inches or larger pipe, 1.5 inches, 2 inch, 3 inch. You have to be patient. Being patient is a big thing. Taking a few minutes extra to have a solid soldered joint will take a fraction of the time of trying to undo and correct a leaking joint. It would mean disassembling your pipe. That is kind of a pain in the neck. So with that said, I'm going to torch up. You want to take your torch, put it inside the striker where the gas is actually forming, and it will light right up. Now what I'm going to do, I want to heat the pipe itself first and expand that, because it will expand, and then I'll put heat on the fitting. So the gap between the two will not be as great. That means less solder, less work to fill the cavity. I will take my flame, I will point it down towards the fitting. Pipe actually will turn a color. It will turn almost like a rainbow color, so you know that it's been heated. Another interesting point is, if you underheat it, you can always add more heat. If you overheat it, you will burn the fitting and you will burn out the flux. So this is how I do it. I will heat up the pipe first. It will turn sort of a rainbow color. Then I will go to the fitting, heat up the fitting. It really doesn't take much. Using a number 3 torch head, which might be a little bit too big for this, because I might be burning the pipe. Okay. Now, I'm a lefty, so I'm backwards. I'm going to apply the heat on the fitting. I'm going to move the flame because I don't want to burn myself. And I will go cold to hot. It's not heated yet. It ran a bit. Not like I wanted to, so I'll apply more heat. Now it ran. I will go to the next area. Turning a bit of a rainbow color. remove the heat. That ran nicely. So I'm working around the pipe. My solder is running. You may not be able to catch that on camera. You'll notice that once I believe I've heated the pipe, move the flame away. In that case, no. You try not to be working with the solder while the heat is in place. Nope. That ran nicely. Now, I'm confident that solder was drawn in all the way around that fitting, filling up the cavity to a degree where it will not leak. I'm not going to perform a leak test, but it did draw in enough solder that that would not leak. If you wanted to, you could keep on adding solder until it is filled in right up to the top, but it's really not necessary. If you see the depth of that fitting, you do not have to fill in that whole entire fitting with solder to ensure that you don't have a leak. So that's, that's up to the individual. You will notice that there's no overspill, there's no solder drips. That's a clean joint. I welcome any kind of comments or input. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to share some basic knowledge for you folks out there. And this is also going to be used as an in-house training tutorial. And I thank you for listening.